The huge Zalosian ship floated in space, waiting. Inside, Grand Marshal Valorn stood tall. His blue skin shone under the bright lights. He felt powerful. His empire, the Grand Concordance of Zalos, had crushed many enemies. 3 species had tried to fight back, all failed. Now Earth was next. For 50 years, Earth had sent food, metals, and fuel. They acted weak. They bowed. They said yes to every demand. Valorn believed Earth was soft, easy to break. Today, Earth's ship would dock. Earth would sign papers, becoming a slave world. Valorn expected tired diplomats, or maybe young soldiers with scared eyes. He planned a short speech, a show of force. Then, victory. The docking alarm sounded. Valorn smoothed his uniform. His best officers stood beside him. All wore sharp uniforms. Weapons hung ready at their sides. Guards lined the walls. 16 strong Zylosian soldiers, tall and heavy. Their eyes watched the door. A soft hiss filled the room. The door opened. No diplomats walked in. 2 humans stepped onto the ship. They wore plain gray suits. No flags, no badges. No weapons visible. Their faces showed nothing. No fear, no hope. Just calm. Like stone. The man walked first. His name was Ji-hoon. He looked young, maybe late 20s. His black hair was short. His eyes moved slowly, taking in everything. The guards, the weapons, the weak spots in the room. He stopped 10 steps from Valorn. The woman stood beside him. Hee-won, early 30s. She didn't look at anyone. Her gaze stayed on the floor like she counted tiles. But her body was still. Too still. Like a cat before it jumps. Valorn smiled. Big and loud. "Ah, Earth's messengers. And we have waited long for this day. You come to sign your surrender, yes?" His voice boomed. He spread his arms wide. "Welcome to the heart of the Grand Concordance. Your planet will serve us well." Ji-hoon didn't smile. He didn't nod. He just spoke. His voice was flat. No anger, no sadness. Just words. "Earth declines vassalage." Silence. Valorn blinked. "What?" "Earth declines vassalage," Ji-hoon repeated. Same tone. Like reading a weather report. "Surrender your fleet coordinates. Resistance will be inefficient." Valorn stared. Then he laughed. A deep, rumbling sound. His officers joined in. Guards shifted, smirking. This was a joke. A weak human trick. "You hear this?" Valorn boomed, wiping his eye. "The little human says no. Earth says no." He pointed a thick finger. "You have 1 ship. We have thousands. Won't you send 2 people to say no?" He turned to his officers. "They think this is a game." He faced Ji-hoon again. His smile vanished. "You are not diplomats. You are fools. Arrest them." He nodded to the guards. "Take them. Break their arms first. Let them feel Zalosian strength." The 16 guards moved. Heavy boots stamped. Hands reached for the human's shoulders. Hee-won moved. It happened fast. Too fast to see clearly. One guard lunged. Hee-won's hand shot up. Not a punch. A twist. Crack. His neck bent wrong. He dropped. Another guard swung his arm. Hee-won ducked. Her leg swept his feet. He fell hard. Before he hit the floor, her knee drove into his throat. Crunch. She didn't stop. She spun. 2 guards came at her. She grabbed the first one's wrist, pulled him into the second. Both stumbled. Hee-won's elbow smashed down on the first guard's spine. He went limp. She caught the second guard's head with both hands. Twisted hard. Snap. 4 guards down. Less than 2 seconds. The room froze. Valorn's mouth hung open. His officers stepped back. Fear flashed in their eyes. This wasn't fighting. This was butchery. Clean. Quiet. "Kill her!" Valorn roared. The remaining 12 guards charged. Clubs raised. Hee-won became a shadow. She slipped between them. A hand here. A foot there. Crack. A guard's arm broke backward. He screamed. Hee-won kicked his knee. It bent the wrong way. He fell. She stomped his head once. Silence. 2 guards tackled her. She rolled with them. Her legs locked around one neck. Squeezed. His face turned purple. His eyes bulged. She threw him into the other guard. Both crashed into a wall. Before they stood, Hee-won was on them. Fingers dug into eyes, thumbs pressed throats. Thud. Thud. More guards came. Haiwan grabbed a fallen club, swung it sideways, hit a guard's temple. Bone cracked. He dropped like stone. She used his body as a shield. Another club struck her back. She didn't flinch. She drove the club forward into the attacker's stomach. He doubled over. She hit his head. Crack. Down. 5 guards left. They hesitated, eyes wide, breathing hard. Haiwan stood still. Gray suit stained dark. Not her blood. Her chest didn't rise fast. No sweat. Just calm. She watched them, waiting. One guard dropped his weapon, ran for the door. Haiwan threw the club. It hit the back of his knee. He screamed, fell. She walked over, stomped his neck. 4 left. They attacked together. Haiwan moved low, under their swings. Her hands struck fast. Poke. Kerpoke. 2 guards grabbed their throats, choking, falling. Last 2. They swung wildly. Haiwan ducked, grabbed one's ankle, pulled. He crashed down. She stepped on his chest. Crunch. Ribs broke. He gasped, couldn't breathe. She turned to the last guard. He froze, club shaking in his hand, tears in his eyes. Haiwan looked at him, not angry, not kind, just empty. She walked close, so close he felt her breath. Then she kicked his knee sideways. Snap. He screamed, fell. She stomped his head. Once. Silence. 16 guards, all on the floor, all dead or dying. Blood pooled under them. Broken bones showed through skin. Haiwan stood in the middle. Not a scratch on her, not out of breath. She looked at her hands, wiped a drop of blood on her gray suit, like wiping dust. Valorn stood frozen, his face white. His officers pressed against the walls. No one moved, no one breathed. Ji-hoon hadn't moved. He watched the fight. His eyes noted details. How many seconds, where blood spilled, how the guards died. He stepped over a body, stopped before Valorn. Acceptable collateral, Ji-hoon said, his voice still flat. No pride, no shame, just fact. Valorn found his voice. It cracked. What are you? Ji-hoon tilted his head, like the question was strange. Earth sent us. You killed 16 elite guard, Valorn stammered, in seconds, without weapons. Ji-hoon looked at Haiwan. She stood still again, eyes on the floor, waiting. We were trained, Ji-hoon said simply. For what? To kill? Ji-hoon almost smiled. Almost. To end things. Valorn shook his head. This is not war. War has rules. Honor. You are monsters. Monsters win, Ji-hoon said. Earth knows this. He took one more step, close enough to touch Valorn. The Grand Marshal flinched. Your empire wanted war, Ji-hoon said. You asked for soldiers. He paused. Let the words sink in. Earth didn't send soldiers. He looked around the bloody room, at the broken bodies, at the terrified officers, at Valorn's pale face. We sent sociopaths. Valorn felt cold, deeper than space. These humans, they weren't angry. They weren't scared. They felt nothing. Killing 16 guards was like swatting flies. Boring work. Ji-hoon turned, walked back to Haiwan. The terms stand, he said, not looking at Valorn. Fleet coordinates. Now, or more collateral. Haiwan finally looked up. Her eyes met Valorn's. Dark, empty, like 2 black holes. Valorn understood. This wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration. Earth wasn't fighting the Empire. They were showing the Empire how small it was, how weak, how human. The concordance of Xylos had crushed species that fought with fire and fury. But fire can be put out. Fury can be broken. This was different. This was nothing. And nothing was harder to kill than something that didn't care if it lived. Valorn's hands trembled. He looked at his dead guards, at the blood, at the calm faces of the humans. Commander Cathel's fist slammed onto the metal table, his blue skin flushed dark with anger. On the screen before him, footage played 16 of Xylos's finest guards, dead on the floor of the docking bay. all killed by one human woman. His officers stood stiffly around the war room table, avoiding his eyes. Shame burned in Cathel's chest. The Grand Concordance had never been humiliated like this. Never. They called it acceptable collateral, Cathel growled, replaying the cold voice of the human man, Ji-hoon. Collateral, like broken tools. He turned to his second-in-command. We must answer, now. Show Earth we are not weak. His officer nodded quickly. The frontier colony, Azure Spire. It has no defenses, only farmers. We send the Vengeance-class cruiser Starhammer. One strike, total destruction. Earth will beg for mercy. Cathel smiled, a sharp, hard thing. Yes, they will see Xylosian strength. They will break. He gave the order. Go, now. On the small human colony world called Azure Spire, the sky turned red, not sunset. Warning lights. Sirens screamed across the fields of wheat and soy. People ran, farmers, teachers, innocent children, scrambling for underground shelters. They knew the red sky. It meant Xylosian warships, but no one ran to the main comms tower. There, leaning against the wall, stood a young man named Tae-sik. He wore simple brown clothes like a farmer. He wasn't running, he was smiling. A wide, easy smile. His dark eyes watched the sky, not with fear, but with calm interest. Beside him, a woman named Su-min crouched by the tower's main access panel. Her fingers moved fast over the alien tech, plugging in small, flat devices. She didn't look up, didn't speak. Tae-sik pulled a small earpiece from his pocket. He placed it gently in his ear. He took a slow breath. Then he spoke, his voice warm and friendly, like he was chatting with an old friend. But the words came through every speaker, every private comms channel, every child's toy communicator on the entire planet. Hello, Commander Cathel, Tae-sik said. His smile grew bigger. Nice of you to visit. We've been waiting. On the bridge of the Starhammer, Cathel froze. His blood turned to ice. How? How was this human speaking into his private command channel? Tae-sik's voice continued, cheerful. We see your ship. Big, shiny, pointing very scary guns at our little farms. But Commander, Tae-sik paused. His voice dropped, becoming softer, almost gentle. Before you fire, think of your daughter, little Malara, born on stardate 451.2.2. She has your eyes, blue like the oceans of Xylos Prime. Cathel gasped. He stumbled back. Impossible! No one knows that! Malara's birth date was secret, guarded by the Empress herself. Tae-sik kept talking, his voice like silk. She loves the songbird toy you gave her, the blue one. She sings to it at night. Hush now, little bird. Daddy fights the bad humans. Tae-sik hummed a few soft notes. You recorded that for her, didn't you? When you left for this mission? Cathel's hands shook. He looked at his officers. Their faces were pale, terrified. How could a human know this? Know their children's secrets? Tae-sik's voice turned serious. We know all your children, Commander. Their names, their birthdays, the toys they love, the fears they whisper in the dark. Your fleet has neural implants, yes? For communication? For safety? Tae-sik chuckled, a light, pleasant sound. We fixed them. While you were busy laughing at Earth's weakness, now we see what you see. We hear what you hear. We know your hearts. He paused. Let the horror sink in. Fire your guns. Commander, Tae-sik said softly. Destroy these farms. Kill these people. And then we will send a message, just to you. A video of Malara playing with her blue bird right before she stops breathing because her neural implant malfunctions. Silence filled the Starhammer's bridge, thick, suffocating. Cathel felt sick. He looked at the planet below. Just fields, homes, innocent people. But above that, his own child's face, smiling, laughing. No! Cathel roared. Break off! Abort attack! Now! His officers moved fast, fingers flying over controls. But it was too late. Su-min stood up from the access panel. She gave Tae-sik a small nod. Her work was done. On the Starhammer, alarms blared. Not attack alarms. System failure alarms. Commander, A tech yelled, panic in his voice. Engines failing, navigation failing, and life support dropping. Cathell stared at the screens. Red error messages flashed everywhere. What is happening? It's the humans. They didn't attack us. They infected us. Suman's small devices, plugged into the colony's comms tower, had done their job. Not explosions, not viruses that stole data. Something worse. Nanites. Tiny, hungry machines. They had slipped through the comms link, writing the very signals Cathell used to command his fleet. Now they were inside the Starhammer's core systems. They didn't destroy. They corroded. Metal softened. Wires frayed. Circuits melted like sugar in rain. The great warship shuddered. Lights flickered. Gravity plates sputtered. Cathell felt his stomach lurch as the deck tilted. Status, he barked. We're drifting. Into the Crimson Nebula, sir. Cathell's blood froze again. The Crimson Nebula. A vast cloud of glowing gas. Beautiful. Deadly. It hid things. Huge, ancient space predators called energy whales. They fed on electromagnetic pulses, like those from a dying warship. Get us out, Cathell ordered. Full reverse. The engines whined, spat sparks, stopped. The Starhammer groaned, pulled deeper into the red mist. Outside the Starhammer, the nebula glowed. Then shadows moved, huge silent shapes, longer than the ship itself. Energy whales. They sensed the failing power, the dying light. They came. Inside the ship, the lights died. Emergency lights cast long, scary shadows. The air grew thick and hot. People coughed. Cathell stood on the darkening bridge, watching the view screen. The whales circled, not attacking yet, just waiting, hungry. His officers looked at him, not with respect, with fear. The same fear they felt for the humans. Commander, his second-in-command whispered, the fleet, they won't follow orders. They heard the humans' words about their children. They're scared. They want to run. Cathell understood. His own officers might turn on him. To save their families? The Empire ran on loyalty, on honor. But honor meant nothing when your child's life hung by a thread. Then Tysik's voice came again. Not through the ship's speakers, directly into Cathell's private earpiece. A whisper. Close. Intimate. Run, Commander, Tasik said. His voice held no anger, no triumph, just calm certainty. Run while you can. We won't chase you today. A pause. The whisper grew softer, colder. We'll find you when we're bored. The comms cut. Silence. Only the groan of the dying ship and the hungry sigh of the energy whales outside. Cathell looked at his bridge, at the terrified faces, at the red mist filling the view screen. He thought of Malara, her blue eyes, her songbird. He slumped into his command chair. Not a leader, just a father, trapped. Send the order, he said, his voice hollow. Full retreat, signal the fleet. We go home. On Azure Spire, Tysik removed his earpiece. He stretched his arms, still smiling. Suman walked up beside him. She said nothing, just pointed to the sky. The red glow of the Zelosian fleet was shrinking, pulling back from the nebula, fleeing. Good job, Su-Min, Tysik said. He didn't sound happy. He sounded satisfied, like a mechanic who fixed a broken machine. Su-Min finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, flat. Nanites worked. Whales will finish. Tysik nodded. He looked at the farmers coming out of the shelters, confused, so scared, but alive. They saw Tysik and Su-Min. They didn't cheer. They didn't thank them. They just stared, with fear, the same fear the Xylosians now felt. Tysik's smile didn't reach his eyes. They think we saved them, he said softly. They don't understand. Suman turned to him, a single eyebrow raised, a silent question. We didn't save them, Tysik explained. His voice was calm, reasonable, like discussing the weather. We used them, like bait. The Xylosians needed to see what Earth really is. Now they know. He looked at the retreating ships. They wanted a war with soldiers, rules, battles they could understand. He paused. The smile vanished. For a moment, his face was empty, cold. They got a war with people who don't care about winning, Tysick said. We don't want to win. We want it to end. Was permanently. He turned and walked away from the comms tower. Suman followed. No one stopped them. No one thanked them. The farmers watched them go, huddled together. Safe. For now. But the look in their eyes wasn't gratitude. It was the same look on Cathel's face. The look of prey who knows the hunter is still out there. Ji-hoon walked through the neural archive. His gray shoes made no sound on the smooth silver floor. The air smelled cold, like old metal and dust. Tall shelves stretched high, filled with glowing blue crystals. Each crystal held the memories of a Zalosian, their joys, their pains, their whole lives. Archivist Malira followed him. Her blue skin looked pale under the soft lights. She wrung her hands, nervous. This place is sacred, human. Only historians enter. Why do you need it? Ji-hoon didn't look at her. His eyes scanned the shelves. Earth studies cultures, he said. His voice was flat, no warmth. We learn how others think. Malira didn't believe him. She remembered the docking bay, the dead guards, the woman who killed them without blinking. But Earth had won the right to study. The empire was broken. They had to obey. Very well, Malira whispered. But be careful. The crystals, they hold strong feelings. Too much pain can hurt you. Ji-hoon almost smiled. Almost. Pain doesn't hurt me. He walked deeper into the archive. Malira stayed close, watching him. He didn't touch the crystals like a historian would. With respect. With care. He moved like a hunter, looking for something specific. Ji-hoon stopped at a shelf labeled Military Leaders. He picked a crystal. It glowed warm in his hand. He pressed it against his temple. It closed his eyes. Malira gasped. You can't just... But Ji-hoon was already inside the crystal's memory. He saw through Admiral Varrock's eyes. A battle. Ships exploding. Varrock felt the pain of his dying crew, not just his own fear. Their screams filled his mind. He wept as he gave the order to retreat. The pain of his people was his pain. Shared. Heavy. Ji-hoon pulled the crystal away. His face showed nothing, but his eyes were sharper. Thinking. Interesting, he said softly. You feel each other's pain. Malira stared. Of course, we are one people. One mind. Pain binds us. It makes us strong. Ji-hoon turned to her. His dark eyes were empty holes. It makes you weak. Outside the archive, Hee-won waited in the city square. She leaned against a stone wall, watching. People walked past. Zalosians with blue skin. They moved slowly. Their eyes were sad, worried. Since the Starhammer fled, fear hung over the city like thick fog. Hee-won saw a man in a dark blue uniform. Admiral Varrock. He walked alone. Head down, shoulders slumped. He looked broken, like a man who carried too much weight. Hee-won pushed off the wall. She walked behind him, silent as shadow. Varrock turned into a quiet alley. Hee-won followed. She grabbed him from behind. One hand covered his mouth. The other twisted his arm up his back. Crack. Bone broke. Varrock gasped into her hand. She didn't squeeze hard. Didn't hurt more than needed. Just held him still. Be quiet, Hee-won whispered. Her voice was calm, like talking to a child. Or I break more. Varrock nodded. She let go of his mouth. He didn't scream. Just breathed fast, shaky. Tears filled his eyes. Why? He choked out. What do you want? Hee-won stepped in front of him. She pulled a small flat screen from her pocket. She tapped it. The screen showed video. Varrock's own fleet. The Starhammer caught in the Crimson Nebula. Energy whales tearing into the ship. Zalosian soldiers floating in space. Dying slow. Screaming into empty air. Varrock's breath stopped. His eyes widened. No! Hee-won held the screen close. Watch. She made him watch. Every second. Every death. Every scream. Varrock shook. Sweat poured down his face. He tried to look away. Hee-won held his chin. Forced him to see. Your men, she said softly. Your pain. Varrock sobbed. Why show me this? Because you will share it, Hee-won said. She pulled a small needle from her sleeve, pressed it into Varrock's neck. He felt cold fire spread through him. What? What did you do? He whispered. He one step back. You'll see. She turned and walked away. Left Varrock alone in the alley, shaking, crying, watching the dying soldiers on the screen. Back in the archive, Ji-hoon felt it first. A wave of pain hit him, not his own. Sharp, deep, like a knife in the chest. He staggered, grabbed a shelf for balance. Malira saw him. What's wrong? Ji-hoon shook his head. His face was pale. Something happened. Then the alarm started. Woo, woo, woo! Red lights flashed. Malira ran to a wall screen. It showed the city outside. People were falling, collapsing in the streets, clutching their heads, screaming. What is this? Malira cried. Ji-hoon looked at the screen. He understood. Admiral Varrock. Varrock ran through the streets. He couldn't stop, couldn't hide. The pain was too big, too loud. It burned in his mind. The dying soldiers, in their terror, their last thoughts. It flooded him. Solotians share pain. It's how they live, how they fight, how they love. But Varrock's pain was too much, too dark. He ran past a mother holding a baby. The mother felt Varrock's pain, like a punch to the heart. She dropped the baby, clutched her chest, fell to her knees screaming. Varrock ran past workers in a market. They felt it too, dropped their tools, grabbed their heads, cried out. The pain spread, like a virus, from person to person, through the shared neural network of the city. Varrock reached the city square. He fell to his knees, looked up at the sky. Tears streamed down his face. Make it stop, he begged the empty air. Please, make it stop. In the archive, Ji-hoon watched the city burn with pain. People writhing on the ground, buildings emptying as more collapsed. Sirens wailed. Malira was frantic. What did you do? Ji-hoon's voice was calm. Haiwan captured Varrock, made him watch his fleet die. Then she injected him with a neural tracer. Now his pain, it's broadcasting. To everyone. Malira stared at him. Horror filled her eyes. You turned his grief into a weapon? Ji-hoon nodded. You feel each other's pain. We used it. Malira backed away. Monster. Ji-hoon didn't flinch. You called us monsters on the ship, remember? We are what you needed. He walked to a terminal, typed fast, pulled up files, Earth's secret files, hidden deep in the archive. Malira read over his shoulder. Her hands trembled. Project, Final Shield. Subject, Level 9 Sociopaths. Origin, Earth prisons, war zones, forgotten wars. Training, 50 years. To feel nothing, to end things. The files showed faces. Ji-hoon, Hee-won, Tae-sik, Sumin were younger, colder. Training videos, killing without hesitation, smiling after breaking bones. Malira whispered, You are criminals, broken people. Ji-hoon turned to her. His eyes were dark, empty. Earth didn't have soldiers strong enough to fight your empire, so they made something else. Something that doesn't care, doesn't fear, doesn't feel. He tapped the screen. We feel nothing, archivist. That's why we win. Malira shook her head. No, your empire was built on feeling too much. You needed pain to be strong, to be kind, to be you. Ji-hoon stepped closer. His voice dropped. We feel nothing. That's why we end wars, permanently. Outside, the city screamed. Pain echoed through the streets. More people fell. Hospitals overflowed. The strong shared the weak's suffering. The weak drowned in it. Ji-hoon walked to the archive door. He stopped, looked back at Malira. Tell your empress, surrender now, or we make more pain, until there is no one left to feel it. He left. Malira stood alone in the silent archive. The red lights flashed on her face. She looked at the Earth files, at the faces of the humans, not soldiers, not heroes, hunters, made to kill not with guns, but with silence, with emptiness. She touched a data crystal on the shelf, felt the warm pulse of a Xylotian's happy memory inside. A child's laugh, a mother's song. Tears fell down her blue cheeks. Her people felt too much, and that was their end. The archive hummed around her, quiet, sacred. But outside the city broke, one scream at a time. Ji-hoon met Hye-won in a dark street. She wiped blood from her knuckles. "Done," she said. Ji-hoon nodded, looked at the city, people still on the ground, moaning, he crying. "Good," he said. Hye-won tilted her head. "They feel it all, like a storm." Ji-hoon watched a young Zaloshan girl try to help her mother. The mother screamed, holding her head. The girl cried but kept trying. Ji-hoon felt nothing, no pity, no pride, just fact. "They built an empire on feeling," he said. "We broke it with not feeling." Hye-won looked at him. "Is it working?" Ji-hoon's lips barely moved, almost a smile. "It always works." They walked away, leaving the pain behind. The city's screams followed them, but they didn't look back. Empress Xianya stared at the broken city. From her high palace window, Lumina looked like a dying animal. Smoke rose from burning streets. People ran, not from bombs, but from each other. Screams filled the air, not of pain, but of fear. Pure, raw fear. Her empire was tearing itself apart, and she knew who caused it. Humans. Tai-sik walked through the chaos. He wore simple gray clothes like a worker. His face was calm. His eyes watched everything. A group of Zalotians argued loudly near a broken market stall. Tai-sik stopped beside them. He didn't speak. He just played a small video on his flat screen. The video showed a Zalosian nobleman dressed in fine blue robes. He sat in a soft chair, eating sweet fruit. On a screen before him, footage played. The star hammer being torn apart by energy whales. Soldiers dying. The nobleman laughed. He took a bite of fruit. "Good, me," he said. "Let the weak burn." The arguing Zylosians saw the video. Their faces turned dark with anger. "That's Lord Kavorn," one shouted. "He enjoyed our people dying." Tasik said nothing. He just walked away, smiling gently. He had done this 100 times. Found secret videos, doctored them, made it look like the rich Zylosians were happy about the fleet's destruction, happy about the pain in the streets. He didn't need many videos, just enough. Soon the arguing group grew. More Zylosians joined. They carried sticks, rocks. They marched toward the noble district. Others saw them, joined them. Anger spread like fire. Sumin worked in the shadows. She stood under a bridge where the city's gravity grids hummed. The grids kept people from floating away. They were strong, safe. Su-min placed small black boxes on the metal pipes. She pressed a button. The boxes clicked softly. She walked away. In the poor part of the city, gravity failed. People floated up. Children screamed, grabbing at walls. A mother reached for her baby. Too late. The baby drifted toward the ceiling, crying. People crashed into each other, bumping like balloons. Water from broken pipes hung in the air in shiny balls. Zalosians felt each other's fear. Always, but now the fear was everywhere. Different, sharp. It wasn't shared pain from one event. It was 1,000 small terrors. A child lost, a home broken, a parent floating away. The shared mind of the Zylosians couldn't handle it. The pain didn't bind them. It broke them. Empress Xianya paced her throne room. Her blue skin looked gray with worry. Her advisors stood in a circle, arguing. "We must attack Earth," shouted one. "Send the whole fleet." "And do what?" snapped another. "Their ship is gone. They hide behind tricks. Words. Pain." "Then we find the humans here," a third said. "Kill them." Zanya raised her hand. Silence fell. Her voice was tired. "We cannot. They are ghosts. They break us without fighting." She looked at the window. Below, a mob threw rocks at a noble's house. Fire lit the smoke. They turned our strength against us, our unity, our empathy. They made it a weapon. One advisor whispered, "What do we do, Empress?" Zanya didn't answer. Her comm screen lit up. A human face appeared. Ji-hoon, calm, empty eyes. "Empress Zanya," he said. His voice was flat. No anger, no joy. "Surrender now." Zanya straightened. "Never. We are the Grand Concordance. We do not bow." Ji-hoon tilted his head, like a scientist watching an insect. "Your city burns. Your people hurt each other. Your fleet hides in fear. Surrender, or we teach your children how to hate." Zanya felt cold. "What?" We can make children hate, Ji-hoon said simply. We know how. Show them videos. Tell them stories. Make them fear the color blue. Fear their own parents. In one generation, your empire dies. Not with guns. With silence. He paused. Let the words sink in. Surrender now. It is cleaner. Zanya's hands shook. She thought of her young son, playing in the palace garden, laughing. What if he learned to hate? What if he turned on her? Give me term, she whispered. No reparations, Ji-hoon said. No territory. Earth secedes. You leave us alone? Forever. And you will never speak of us again. The advisors gasped. No reparations? But we have their colony worlds. Their resources. Ji-hoon's eyes didn't move. Earth wants nothing from you. Not land, not gold. Just silence. Sign the terms, or we make your children monsters. Zanya closed her eyes. She felt the pain of her people, the fear. Now the broken trust, it was too much. She nodded. I agree. The signing happened in the palace courtyard. Rain fell softly. Zanya sat at a stone table with her top diplomats. Ji-hoon stood opposite. Hye-wan stood beside him, still a stone. Tae-sik and Su-min watched from the shadows. Zanya signed the paper. Her hand was steady. It is done. Earth is free. One diplomat, a proud man named Rathol, slammed his fist on the table. This is shame. We give them freedom but take nothing? No apology? No payment for the star hammer? He turned to Ji-hoon. You monsters! You broke us with tricks. You don't deserve... Hye-wan moved. No warning. No growl. Just fast. She stepped forward. One hand shot out, grabbed Arthol's head, twisted. Crack. It was over in a second. Rathol's body dropped to the wet stones, eyes open, staring at the sky. Silence, only the rain. Zanya didn't scream. She just stared at the dead diplomat. Her face showed nothing, only deep, deep tiredness. Ji-hoon looked at Rathol's body, not with anger, not with pride, like he'd swatted a fly. Unnecessary noise, he said. He turned to Zanya. The terms stand. Earth leaves. You forget us. He walked away. Hye-wan followed. Tae-sik and Su-min melted into the rain. That night, Zanya sat alone in her room. The city was quiet now. The riots had stopped. People were too tired, too broken. She held a small data crystal. It held Earth's secret files, the ones archivist Malira had sent her. She pressed play. Footage showed a young Ji-hoon, maybe 15. He stood in a white room. A Xylosian prisoner sat chained to a chair. The prisoner begged, cried, said he had children. Ji-hoon listened. And then he broke the prisoner's fingers, one by one, while smiling. The prisoner screamed. Ji-hoon didn't flinch, didn't look away. The video ended. Zanya felt sick. She played another. Hye-wan, even younger. Training. She fought 10 guards, broke them all. Afterwards, she washed her hands. Calm. Like she'd just cleaned dishes. These weren't soldiers. They were something else. Something made to end things. Without feeling. Zanya understood now. The Xylosians built their empire on feeling, on shared pain, on love. It made them strong. It also made them weak. Earth sent people who felt nothing, who saw pain as a tool, who broke an empire not with ships, but with silence, with indifference. She looked out her window. The rain had stopped. The city lights glowed weakly. People moved slowly, like ghosts. Earth didn't want to win, and they wanted to be forgotten, and that was the cruelest victory of all. Tae-sik stood on a rooftop. He watched the quiet city. Su-min joined him. Done, she said. Tae-sik nodded. They signed. Su-min looked at the palace. Why no land? No power? Tae-sik smiled. Not a happy smile, a cold one. Power needs care. Land needs guarding. Earth doesn't want that. He pointed at the broken streets. They wanted war. We gave them something worse. We made them see what they are. Weak, soft, full of noise. He turned to Su-min. Now they will sit in their broken empire. Quiet, scared, always wondering if we are watching, always afraid we will teach their children to hate. He shrugged. Better than killing them all. This way. The fear lives forever. Suman looked at the stars. Earth will wipe us soon. Tysik's smile faded. Yes, but not yet. Below, a Xylosian child walked home, holding his mother's hand. The child looked up at the stars. He didn't see wonder. He saw fear. He pulled his mother closer. Tysik watched him. See? The work continues. He walked to the edge of the roof, looked down at the dark streets. Earth doesn't want victory, he said softly. Earth wants silence. He jumped, landed silently on the street below. Suman followed. They walked away, leaving the broken city behind. No one saw them go. No one would remember them, just like Earth wanted. The SSV Mercy floated above Earth. Not a warship, not a hero ship, just a gray metal box. Inside, Jihoon, Heewon, Taisik, and Suman sat in silence. They watched Earth through the small window. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. Peaceful, normal. No music played, no cheers waited. They knew what came next. The ship docked at Earth Station Theta, a plain metal station orbiting Earth. No flags, no crowds, just clean white walls and quiet lights. Two men in simple gray suits met them. No smiles, no names. Follow, one said. His voice was flat, like reading a list. They walked down a long hall, smooth floor, white walls, no windows. The air smelled sterile, like hospitals. The four humans moved without sound. Heewon's eyes scanned every corner. Taisik hummed a soft tune. Suman's hands stayed still at her sides. Jihoon walked straight, seeing everything but showing nothing. The men stopped at a heavy door. It slid open. Inside was a small room, white chairs, a big screen on the wall. Cold. Sit, the man said. They sat. The men left. The door closed. Silence. The screen lit up. No faces. Just dark shadows where faces should be. A voice came out. Calm. Empty. Mission parameters fulfilled, the voice said. The Xylosian Empire has signed the terms. Earth is safe. Jihoon nodded once. A small move, like a clock ticking. Reintegration begins now, the voice continued. Standard procedure. Taisik leaned forward. His smile was gone. Will it hurt? The shadow voice didn't change. No pain. Neural wipe. Memory deletion. You will forget the mission. Forget Xylos. Forget being weapons. Suman spoke for the first time. Her voice was quiet, like wind. What after? Reassignment, the voice said. Labor camps, mining asteroids, hard work, simple life. Heewon tilted her head. We end wars, then dig rocks. Earth needs tools, the voice said. Tools break, tools get replaced. You served well. And now rest. Jihoon looked at his hands. Clean, no blood. Is this punishment? The voice paused, almost thoughtful. No, this is Earth. We don't keep broken things. We fix them, or use them until they stop working. The screen went dark. Two women in white coats entered. They carried thin metal bands, like bracelets, but with sharp points inside. Neural collars, one said. No emotion, just fact. Sit still. Heewon stood up fast, like a snake. One woman gasped, but Hyewan didn't attack. She just looked at the collar. Her eyes were dark pools. Will I forget how to kill? Hyewan asked. The woman blinked. You will forget why you killed. Hyewan sat back down, waited. They placed the collars, cold metal against skin. The points pressed just under the ear. Jihoon felt it, a tiny pinch, then nothing. The women left. And Taisik broke the silence. Remember this moment, he said softly. Before the dark. Suman looked at him. Why? Because after, Taisik whispered. We won't know we were strong. Jihoon stared at the white wall. He saw the Xylosian city, the broken people, the fear in Empress Xianya's eyes. He felt nothing, but he knew it mattered. This is the last time I understand, he thought. After this, I am just a tool again. He touched his lapel. There, hidden under his gray shirt, was a small pin. Round, shiny, Earth's symbol, blue and green. He'd worn it since training. A secret, a reminder. This is why. On a barren moon far from Xylos, a Xylosian refugee watched Earth's signal. His name was gone. His home was gone. He lived in a metal box with other broken Xylosians. They called him the Witness. He pressed a button. A screen showed Earth's broadcast. Not war news, not victory speeches. Just a nature show, a river flowing, birds flying, a child laughing at butterflies. The refugee stared. His blue skin looked gray with dust. His eyes were tired. "They erased us," he whispered. His voice cracked. "Not with bombs, with silence." He remembered the humans. Ji-hoon's empty eyes. Hee-won's quiet hands. Tai-sik's cold smile. Su-min's silent steps. They didn't want to rule. They didn't want gold. They wanted Earth to be forgotten. The refugee turned off the screen. Darkness filled his metal box. He hugged his knees. Thought of his old home. The pain. The riots. The fear in children's eyes. They broke us by not caring, he realized. We built our empire on feeling. They broke it with not feeling. He looked at the black sky. Earth was a tiny blue dot. So small. So quiet. "Monsters," he whispered. But he didn't mean the humans. He meant himself, his people. For thinking war was a game with rules. Earth never played games. Back in the White Room, the collars beeped. Soft, steady. Ji-hoon felt it first. A fog in his head. The Xylosian city faded. The screams disappeared. The pin on his lapel felt heavy, warm. "Why do I wear this?" he wondered. Then the thought slipped away. Hee-won's eyes lost focus. She saw hands snapping necks. But whose hands? Why? The memory dissolved like smoke. She blinked, looked at her clean hands. Confused. Tai-sik tried to hold his last thought. "I made them fear," he thought hard. "I broke them with words." But the words slipped. He saw a child's face, smiling, laughing. My child, no, gone. He shook his head, felt empty. Su-min felt the fog too. She remembered dark places. Yes, broken machines, but why? The memory crumbled. She looked at the White Room, so clean, so quiet. Where am I? The collars beeped faster. Ji-hoon's hand moved to his lapel. His fingers found the pin. Just for a second, he felt the metal, the shape. Something deep inside him knew, not with thought, with feeling, a tiny spark. Earth, the spark said, safe. Then the fog swallowed it. He lowered his hand, sat straight, eyes empty, waiting. The door opened. The gray-suited men returned. Reintegration complete, one said. He checked a tablet. Memories erased, ready for reassignment. He looked at the four. They sat like statues. No fear, no sadness. Just calm, like they'd always been there. Stand, the man ordered. They stood, smooth, silent. Follow. They followed, down the white hall, past the clean walls, went toward the transport ship that would take them to the asteroid mines. Ji-hoon walked last. As he passed the window, he glanced at Earth. Blue, green, quiet. For a heartbeat, something flickered in his eyes. Not memory, not feeling, just recognition, like seeing an old friend in a crowd. Then it was gone. He kept walking. The refugee on the moon looked up again. Earth's blue dot glowed softly. He thought of the humans, not as monsters, as shadows. Earth sent shadows to fight the Empire. Shadows that didn't fight fair, didn't get angry, didn't care if they lived. The Empire wanted a war it understood. Battles, ships, honor. Earth gave it a war it couldn't survive. A war of silence, of indifference, of people who ended things because ending was easier than playing. The refugee lay down on the cold metal floor. He closed his eyes. They didn't win, he thought. They just stopped losing. Outside his metal box, the stars burned cold. Earth hung in the black, small, quiet. No one remembered its name. No one ever would. The refugee slept, dreaming of rivers and birds, and a child's laugh. Ji-hoon sat on the transport ship. It shook as it left the station. He looked at his hands. Clean, empty. A man beside him sighed. Long trip to the mines, he said. Hard work. Ji-hoon didn't answer. He felt nothing. But deep down, where the fog hadn't reached yet, a small part of him smiled. Not with joy, with satisfaction. The ship flew toward the dark rocks, toward the hard work, toward the silence. Earth floated behind it. Safe.